me, I thought I'd come in and see what you're up to today.
Well, I'm glad you did. I've been getting a lot of questions about wiring questions and should I crimp, should I solder, I don't know. And so today I'm going to tell you what I do, what I prefer and why. And so let's get started, huh?
Sounds good.
All right, so first of all, here's why I don't solder. Now I just quickly soldered this joint. It's not beautiful, but it's soldered.
That doesn't look nice.
No. And you'll notice that, like, if I try and bend the wire, the solder actually wicks up here. It's really hard. I mean, once you get it hot enough to melt here, it's hot enough to melt inside here. And so the solder just kind of like flows down the wire. And so now you have this area where it can be brittle. And, cars vibrate. We all know that, right? So, and over time, this can fatigue, all right? So I prefer to crimp. And so do the automotive manufacturers. Chevrolet, Ford, Dodge, everybody crimps. And there's a reason why they do that, because it's not affected by vibration. It stays, the wire stays flexible, and it makes a good connection. So today I'm going to show you different kinds of crimping, why I think they're better. Here's some examples here. I'll just show you really quick. These are crimped, and then they use some heat shrink tubing. Okay, very clean, very nice. Here's another one, crimped wire. So we got two wires, two connections from one connection. Here's another factory style crimp, and it's got the heat shrink on it.
That looks a lot better than soldering.
Yeah, it does. And then here's an example of it. This is another style of factory crimping, okay? These are Delphi connectors, and you see these a lot like this. This is for a throttle position sensor, and I don't know if you can see it, but the wire is...
Ooh, nasty.
Yeah, it's funky. Okay, and you're probably saying, well, how do I take those off? How do I fix those? Well, I know probably you've seen these in tool stores and stuff, and I don't know what that's for. Well, one of the things that's a screwdriver, obviously, and then this is for shorting out the OBD1 connector. But the one we're using here is this round tube, and there's another tube inside of it. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah, I can see.
Okay, so we insert it over that connector, we push it in, oh, bam, out it comes. And here it is, okay, and you can see how funky the wire is. And this little green thing here is a silicone seal, which is why they call them weather pack connectors. And then I have an assortment of weather pack connectors right here, I'll show you. And different pin sizes, right? So you can actually replace this wire, this plastic connector. There's nothing wrong with it, except for this one's broken, but that's why I have extra connectors. And
that's a nice assortment.
yeah, here's another assortment here.
So where do you get all of these?
Well, you can order them. Mostly, I don't really see them in tool stores very often because they're pretty specific. But see, like here's the broken connector, and here's the good version, right? Mm-hmm. And so I would just redo it, replace it. If the wire's good, I could just pop it out and then pop it in here, and it'd be good to go. If I needed a new silicone seal, there's silicone seals here, different sizes, depending on the size of wire you're using. And then this crimper is specially designed. It has two crimping sections on it. And the small one is for this crimp right up here. Let me get something, I'll point that out to you. Is for this one. And the bigger hole is to crimp this silicone seal to it. So if you looked at these connectors here, you can see that, I'll kind of spin it a little bit. You can see that the small one there is for the wire, and then this bigger one, you put your little silicone piece over, and then take your crimping tool and it'll fold those over nice and pretty, and it'll look really good. And then these little ears right here, you can see them there. Okay, well that's what this little tube, it goes in and releases those so that you can remove them. So
Well, do you get these kits on Amazon? Or where do you get
yeah,
'em?
yeah, actually I did. I got this one on Amazon. It really wasn't very expensive. I think $60 an assortment. And then I got these here because two wire connectors. I use these for you know, like if I got to sell lights or something, auxiliary lights, backup lights, something like that, or maybe some of those LED lights. This way I can unconnect and connect them really easily if I have to service the light. And so the two connector is really common. I use that a lot. And then I just got another assortment of those little silicone things for different gauge wires. So these pins are gauged 14 to 16 gauge wire and 18 to 20 gauge wire. So
that's why we've been seeing the UPS truck at our place so often.
well, yeah, because he actually knows my name, which is cool.
That's
so
good.
yeah. So I want to show you also, like when we're getting into crimping here. Okay, we got all these different kinds of connectors. Okay. Now the yellow connectors are for 10 to 12 gauge wire. Okay, and that's an industry standard. And these are special because these are heat shrink crimp connectors. So you crimp it, put a little heat to it, and this piece on the outside shrinks down around the wire and makes a watertight seal. They have a little bit of adhesive in here. You can't see it, but it's heat activated, and as it heats up and shrinks down around the wire, it melts the adhesive, glues it to the wire, makes a watertight seal. So pretty handy. I got some blue ones here. Those are for 16 to 14 gauge. And then these are some butt connectors. Okay, and then you don't have to really actually remember this because they actually say on them 16 to 14 gauge. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah, so you don't have to remember everything, which is good. And so
Especially
those,
the older we get.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's your butt connectors, and then just want to show you this. This is your basic Harbor Freight heat shrink tube assortment, right? And it's got all the different, it tells you what sizes and stuff like that, right? And different colors if you want to match it up, or if you want to go for style and do some custom stuff. And then this stuff here, this is heat shrink tubing that has the glue in it. They call it marine grade because it's waterproof once you heat shrink it onto the part. So you need to get an assortment of this stuff. It's not very expensive, so you know, just to get an assortment. And then I have this assortment here, which I've used for a long time. And I just bought one of these boxes and threw the different connectors in here, the ring connectors, the spade connectors, male and female, all the little doodads and extra light bulbs and for dashes and stuff like that. And
You look pretty well stocked.
yeah, so that way if something comes up, I'm working on a car for someone and I need to do something, I'll have what I need to do it.
You
All
don't
right.
need to run to the hardware store.
Yeah. Like, see this connector here? Just want to show you that you can make all these repairs. This is a fuel connecting the throttle body to the fuel injector on a throttle body in a GM product. And I don't know if you can see inside there, but inside there, on one of those, there's a little tab. And so you come inside here with a screwdriver and kind of bend it in to clear the tab from the, first of all, I got to get it behind the little tab. Come on, baby. Yeah, it should come out. It's frustrating me. I don't like that. You know,
Apparently you didn't read your manual.
yeah, I know, but man, oh, I know why. You have to take this lock off.
Oh, minor details.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then comes out.
Oh, it's a miracle.
Okay, so there's your little silicone watertight deal. And then I kind of bent that down a little bit, but normally it sits like that, and there's that little tab that catches inside this housing. So you can buy these connectors and redo all this stuff. So I just want to show you some of this stuff and how it works. And see, it just snaps right in there. And then this is like, look at this one. This one is really toast. All this bare wire here.
That is nasty.
Yeah, and it wasn't giving a good signal to the fuel injector, and the vehicle was running, just running really poorly. And I ended up replacing the whole connector because it just I just didn't want to take any chances. I didn't want the customer coming back, and so sometimes it's better to replace the whole thing. But
Overkill is better. Is that what you're going to do in my truck too?
yeah, because your truck needs help.
Yes, it does.
And all right, so let me show you the different kinds of crimpers. All right, so there's this style. All right, pretty common. Now they have really cheesy ones of these, so stay away from the really cheesy ones.
How do you know the cheesy from the good?
This is a little thicker on the good ones. You can just kind of tell by holding it. And of course, price. These cost a little more. You can see right here, you've got your different gauges of wire. This is the stripper part. You got a pliers up here. You got a cutter right here. Okay. And then you see these little marks, 540, 1024, and so forth. These are threaded. And so if you have a screw, one of these electrical screws, and you want to cut it off, you can thread it in here. And then when you squeeze it, it'll cut the screw to the right length. So pretty cool. And then right here is your crimper. So you have blue and yellow and then red. And it's the same as same as these guys. Okay. And then you have insulation only. And then this one down here is for your 7 to 8 millimeter ignition wires. So, if you get replace the boot and get the little connector, this is your crimper for that. And these work okay. These work all right. But not too long ago, I upgraded to this style of crimper. It's made by Channel Lock. It's got a cutter here. And I don't know if you can see the writing there, but insulated for that part and non-insulated for that part, okay? And if you look really carefully in here, let me get something to show you. Where's my screwdriver? There it is. If you look really carefully, you see there's a little ridge here, a little bump. And then on this one, it's just smooth, okay? And then if you look on this ring terminal, so I hope that this focus is okay. Let me know. Can you see it all right?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Notice how on the top of this, there's a split here in the tubing where they've, rolled these sides over.
Okay.
All right. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is going to correspond to your crimping tool.
Oh.
And what you're going to want to do is see how you have a little bump there?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that little bump is going to get
Oh, right where that slot is.
right where the slot is. And I typically just use this to hold them in place. That way I'm not fidgeting around and stuff, and I'm not really putting hardly any pressure on it, okay? So then what we want to do, and a lot of times on the better quality wire, you can see right on the wire, it says 14 gauge. See that?
Yeah.
Might be too
barely.
close, I don't know.
There you go. Okay.
Okay. So now you know it's 14 gauge, and we know that that's going to be the blue terminal because that's the size that it works for. And we're going to strip it. Now, these guys here, I'm not affiliated with Vice Grip or anything, but this is a really good wire stripper. This yellow part up here, as you push this out, you can make your stripped wire longer or shorter, however much you want to do. It also has your crimping here, if you wanted to use that. And then your non-insulated crimping here and here. And then again, you have your spark plug 7 to 8 millimeter crimper there. So it kind of has a lot of stuff on it too. But what's really cool about it is, check this out. We'll take the wire, all right, and we push it in here until it butts up against that yellow part. And we just squeeze it. Check it out. That's just awesome.
Nice.
Okay. These strippers here, they'll work, but sometimes they cut some of the copper strands in here, but these don't.
Okay.
So, and this isn't much money. So,
I'm thinking that might end up in my potting shed for gardening.
no, I don't think so. I have a little too much wire there. So, let's go ahead and crimp this on there. Let me show you. Well, first of all, let's put some heat shrink tubing on here. I'm feeling green today. All
So
right.
environmental.
Yeah, so come around here, insert this wire in there. See, it just comes flush with the inside. See that?
Yep.
All right. So we give it a squeeze. Take it off.
And that locks it around it.
Yep. Squeezes in there. I'm pulling on that ring hard and it doesn't move. Then we'll just slide this up. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Fire up this heat gun. Get some heat on this baby. See how it's shrinking down around there?
That's amazing. It's fast.
Yeah.
What kind of heat gun is it?
What is this?
Oh, I know.
Wagner.
Okay.
And you can set it down here if you wanted to, use two hands. This blue light means I turned it off and it has a cool down feature, so it cools down the ceramic element in there that's doing the heating,
Okay.
and it's supposed to shut off. It's not shutting off. There we go. See? Shuts off. But look at that, guys. Isn't that a nice connection? It
Like
looks
a second-
professional.
Second skin.
Yeah, it's clean. It's nice. That's why I crimp. And I hope this helps. Gosh, I'm not sure if I can think of anything else. We covered the shrinky dink. We covered the different styles. I have my assortment of wire, my container wire. So I just keep my wires in there. And what do I use this for? I don't use this very often. Maybe,
Your soldering gun?
yeah, I don't use it that often. As far as like everything to do with automotive and the things I do, it's all crimping. I did want to show you something though. Check this out. I'm working on my wife's truck, and look at this funky wiring down here, guys. Okay, this is Funky Town.
That's just an embarrassment. I can't drive it with that.
I know. So I'm going to replace this connector because it's, this silicone thing is broken. And these kind of connectors here, I really don't like these. The way they work is, I actually have some because I admit that I have used them in the past, but I don't use them anymore. The way they work is you slip your wire in there, and then your other wire you want to join it to, right? So one wire would go, one wire would go in, two wires go out. Then you just squeeze this with a pair of pliers, and this goes down inside, cuts through the insulation, and then you flip this over, and it snaps in, and it's supposed to be a good connection. But truthfully, it's not a very good connection. I've taken an ohm meter and checked the resistance, and it's just not a very, you got a little thin little area of this width making your wire connection. It's just not good. So don't use these.
Okay.
There's better ways to do it. And you can see here, like this connection here is designed for a bullet connector. Okay, it looks like that. And then, let's see, what's the other style? This one here is designed for these male spade connectors. Just not the best, it's just somebody did a quick and dirty deal, and it's just not the best connection. So just want to show you that. You're going to encounter these things on all of your projects. you know, you buy a used vehicle or something, and sooner or later you're going to encounter somebody that kind of did a hokey job when they were wiring. So that's all I got today, guys. You know, it's been awesome hanging out with you guys, and I would appreciate subscribing to my channel, and I appreciate sharing and liking. And I don't know. Until next time, you guys take care.